Alright, ladies and gents, and welcome to another video. I've made sure that this is actually readable now, unlike the previous video where I didn't realise. But yeah, this is literally just it. So again, another document I wrote years ago. So it's called Sphere of Compassion Lens (brackets World Peace). Things that increase a person's sphere of compassion. Sphere of compassion sounds so like la-di-da, doesn't it? So I think circle of care, shall we say, and then we can combine that with circle of consumption and circle of contribution and facilitating all the above. Facilitating the above. Facilitating universal consciousness of consciousness maybe we go like collective, because we're cool, we'll do that. There's definitely a better one than that, but yeah, we can do that, because then it's if we can increase the size of our cocks, then that will facilitate world peace. And yeah, we can do better than that. But yeah. Anyway, contentment, supply and demand, contribution versus consumption plays. I thought about this recently, where it was this one I thought about ages ago. But those four things, I guess. If we have sufficiently large cocks, then yes, world peace won't be as much of an issue. Obviously, I'm struggling in that department, so we need to sort that out. Anyway, contentment, supply and demand, contribution versus consumption plays a large role in this. Relationships, education, and health and nutrition also. Language usage and its impact upon perception, values, and behaviour. Positive versus negative, tribalism, stereotypes versus reality. I really wish I'd gone more in depth in this, rather than come back to it several years later and not really know what the hell I'm talking about. Universal foundation of look, and in instance, that's obviously the philosophy of chill, as prior mentioned, with everything being entirely based on look. Everything entirely based on look. And what I didn't mention in the previous video is I would be very interested in knowing how life would be different if Darwin had come up with survival of the luckiest versus survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest facilitates superiority, inferiority, insecurity complexes. Because yeah, I think the latter is technically true, but is like a domino past the fact that it's a survival of the luckiest, if we think of it in terms of a little domino layout. Positive engagement, coping mechanisms, reactions, yeah. So if a person is super content, has knowledge of the foundation of luck, so yeah, I've not used that phrase in so long, so this must be years old, and is exposed to / uses positive tribalistic language, and they're more likely to be tolerant and have a larger sphere of compassion, or cock. If a person is discontent, doesn't have said knowledge, and is exposed to / uses negative tribalistic language, then more likely to be intolerant and have a smaller sphere of compassion. You know what's coming. You know what's coming. Terrible. Yeah, I mean, hopefully that makes sense. Well, it probably won't make sense because some bits I didn't go into, but the tribalistic language thing I did mention in the previous video, which was basically at the moment we tend to define a person and phrase things as a person being something, rather than phrasing it as an aspect of that person, which is more accurate. So, for example, and it tends to be for mental or physical illnesses especially, although other things as well, which always facilitates social division. Things like religions, when we define people as they are a insert religion here, or they are what was the example I used? Autistic or diabetic, or when it's phrased as being the person being that thing, it's I would describe it as a more negative use of tribalistic language that facilitates more social division, or just generally is a less kind of empathetic phrasing versus emphasis on things being an aspect of a person. And as I gave an example in the previous video, was that we're not very consistent with it. So some things we label the person as that, whereas other things we don't. So for example, cancer. When a person has cancer, we don't say they are cancerous or they were cancerous. It's always phrased, or typically phrased, as an aspect of that person. Whereas, as I said, diabetic, dyslexic, all these other things, it's phrased as being that person. That person is that. And yeah, I think when it's applied to things like religion as well, so that person is Muslim, that person is Christian, that person is etc. etc. And then of course there's skin color as well, is black, is white, etc. These all facilitate, at least with other aspects of a person, can facilitate social division. So that's what I mean by positive tribalistic language versus negative tribalistic language. And also just thinking about what a positive tribe, like what's our perception of what is a positive tribe. So some people might have might consider having a small tribe as being very positive, whereas some people might consider having a much larger, more inclusive tribe as being positive. Now we can see that played out in politics, where some people are less inclined to become more familiar with people they've defined as the out-group, or vice versa. But yeah, this is a very, very short thing, so I don't want to drag this out, and we'll continue looking through these documents which are years old, and hopefully I'll have a better idea what the hell I was talking about then. Have a great rest of your day, and I shall see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.